Hi there, and welcome back. This is a quickie just to underscore something once about this channel. You are not going to find any warnings or disclaimers here. Coffee is hot. Remove child before folding. Goddamn, we're drowning in ridiculous warning labels. Now this creeps in everywhere, and seeing plain dumb messages on an hourly basis is the norm. This email can only be read by the intended recipient. So stupid. Now, it can make you feel like you're living in idiocracy, but I think it's a lot more pernicious than that. These things are everywhere. A bunch of absolutely dumb stuff, but even more of the standard ass-covering legalese we all mostly do our best to skip over. Now, the impact of this culture hits us in two ways: plain old costs and something more profound. The root of all these spurious warnings is litigiousness and regulations, which make things harder to get done and riskier and put a serious brake on innovation. The cost aspect is obvious. You have to have a stable of pet lawyers and keep them well fed. You spend more on insurance. You spend more time worrying out the details of covering your ass, and all these things add on to the price tag. Okay, but it's really the innovation slowdown that gets to me. Some time ago, I had a friend who worked for the government in some big investment fund. These guys have a ton of our money sloshing around, and they'd invested so the big pile they'll never give us back could grow and grow. Now, this friend's job was to evaluate companies, specifically technology companies, to see whether they were worth investing in. So he got to see the backstore and operations for lots of interesting stuff. Now, at some point, he's checking out this company that's invented an improvement for the way metals are welded together. Now, the automotive industry does a whole lot of sticking pieces of metal to other pieces of metal using some sort of resistance spot welding or whatever. So a robot arm comes in and zaps the spot in question so that they're now stuck together. Well, that mostly just works, but the success rate isn't 100%. Out of the 3,000 to 5,000 welds in a typical car, a few percent are defective. Now, this is all a bit blurry. It was a while ago. But there was some technique they used to decrease the defect rate. Either they hit the spot repeatedly, or they held the zapping longer, or something, I don't know. The point was to get the number of pre-inspection defects down as much as possible. So this company my pal was looking at had some kind of real-time inspection system where each robot arm would know immediately and for every weld whether the join was good or not, and I think could actually address the issue. That meant both greater reliability and less time on the factory floor to get there. So faster, more efficient production and marginally safer vehicles. A win-win, right? Well, they took a pass on investing in the company. Why? The technology worked as advertised. That wasn't the problem. What my friend said to me was that when they'd shopped it around, the response from all the car companies was that they'd been through the gauntlet of litigation for the current process. Everything was settled as things were. Making any change would risk a new spate of lawsuits, which, even if they managed to defend themselves and prove the technique, would take time and cost a fortune. So, we'll wait for some other company to go through it, and once the dust is settled, sure, we'll gladly buy and implement the solution. That was everyone's answer. Now, this is a sort of first-mover disadvantage, a free rider problem with high initial investment that leads to a standoff where the costs are so unevenly split between the first adopter and everyone else who would step in later and reap the benefits that no one actually goes ahead to get the ball rolling. Disincentives like this either cause adoption to lag or, like in this case, completely block progress, and it really, really irks me. But I think on top of this, that constantly seeing warnings and disclaimers everywhere breeds a shift in expectations, propping up a sort of not my fault mindset where it's always someone else's responsibility to keep you safe. And that, I think, is the other more profound way that this culture hurts us. It damages the conception of self. Agency, your capacity to act independently, exercise free will, shape your life's trajectory through decisions and actions, is a gift of the universe to every person, and it comes to full fruition with what we call adulthood. Well, comes to fruition is overstating it a bit. It's available to everyone, but you have to go out, actually claim it, and then exercise it. Agency, see, I'm a big fan, but the cost of agency, the flip side, is responsibility. If you make a choice, pose an action, or even choose not to act, there's an ever-expanding ripple of consequences through the light cone that is your existence. Now, some of it's all on you, some of it's unpredictable, but I, for one, will take absolute responsibility if I get absolute freedom in exchange any day. But we, well, mostly our forebearers, have mostly tamed the planet and made some very, very comfortable nests for ourselves. So much so that we've allowed this notion that life is easy and the world, other than bad people of course, but the world and the objects around us are so safe, that the sailing is so smooth that we don't have to worry about the nature of things and forces operating out there in the universe. It's all handled, and we can go around without thinking because some guardrail will always be there to catch us. Anyway, this all gets pretty subtle and interesting, and I could talk about it for a long time, but the short version that seems obvious to me is that if I say you should take vitamin D, and someone goes ahead and takes so much that bad things happen, I mean, why are you blindly taking medical advice from some dude on the internet? Come on, grow up already. So caveat emptor and all that, protect your neck, and I'll see you later.